Here we are again. It's Thursday night. Time for GameSlean TV. Guys, if you're just joining us this week, GameSlean TV is a weekly news and review show. Every week we review the latest games and bring you the latest news. We got tons of stuff to talk about tonight, so let's get right to it. My name is Chris, and I am your host. Let's get the rest of the staff introduced here. To my right, on the co-host sofa, we've got Steve.
No, that's not Steve.
There he is. He's looking great.
That's the one.
I monkeyed with all the settings over here.
Yeah, great. To his right, we got Jeff. What are you looking at?
Breaking news. MLG just released today that their upcoming championship in Ohio will not feature StarCraft 2. Are you effing retarded?
I read that. Yeah, I did see that.
Hey.
If you want that stuff, go to Korea.
Yeah, pretty much. What were they saying? What's the reason for that?
They want to concentrate on League of Legends and Black Ops 2, not like
Two better
the
games.
number one competitive game that people actually watch as an esport. But whatever.
I did read that StarCraft 2 was just a lost cause on me though. I didn't play it. So
I'm terrible at it, but I did go to an MLG event. It's very entertaining to watch. It's like, I don't watch sports, but I assume it's the same people who watch football. You know, they're all fat, beer in a hand, but they're obviously not. But they enjoy the people who are superior at the game playing. It's the same thing with this. I could never play at that level, but it was enjoyable one-on-one competition. Didn't mean to interject with that. Just read it. Moving on.
That's fine. So yeah, too bad for them. We've got Jeff over on production. We've got Xander.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Terrible.
Everything
as usual.
Yeah. Is everything holding up over there?
Probably.
All right. As long as it holds together. As long as it holds together long enough to do the show.
Yeah.
I don't care if it blows up after that. Over on co-production, we've got
Nick Josh.
Yes,
There he is.
I'm Josh, younger.
How's it going?
Nick Josh.
Nick
Yes,
Josh.
we were down
I'm
one.
Nick Josh.
We were down one Josh this week. That's all right though. We got Nick on co-production.
As always.
Yes. And last but not least, joining us remotely via Skype as always, we've
Nick.
got
Oh, man.
Toon.
Who needs a shirt?
Come on.
Is that
This is a family show.
really, dude?
Hey, when you're playing video games, you got to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, we're not playing.
I got
They're
to
doing a
throw
show
up.
about video games. I don't know. I
You gotta
think
be
your camera
gotta be
time tonight's
comfortable. You
gonna
gotta be
limited.
comfortable.
Cut him out. Cut him out.
Man, whatever, dude. All right, Man, I don't know how to follow that. Let's go. News of the week. Next section here. All right, let's kick things off. One of the news items this week. John Carmack is working for Oculus now. So if you don't know who John Carmack is, his big thing is he was a co-founder of ID Software. He helped make the original Doom. He did Commander Keen way back when. Do we have an article for this? So he's helping out with the Oculus now. The Oculus is the 3D headset. There it is. So they kickstarted this whole project here. And there he is wearing it. The Oculus is a 3D headset. They've got a bunch of games in development for it at the moment. There's some stuff running now. It's crazy. Apparently this is the best 3D system to date that you can wear. What have you guys heard about this thing?
Yeah, I heard you can go scuba diving with it.
Yeah.
What?
Like legit scuba diving?
Yeah, it doubles as scuba diving gear.
Oh, there you go.
So I think-
that's what it looks like.
I think this is a huge
Yeah,
win for
kinda.
them though, because this guy has a ton of expertise in graphics programming. He's been around for a long time. This is a huge win for them. Definitely.
I've heard like tons of positive stuff about this. I want to actually use one though, because like my only experience with a virtual reality headset
Like
is a
90s
virtual
90s
boy
movies?
at a Kmart like back and whenever it came out, and I was sick for like the next like 48 hours after I used it for like
Yeah.
20 minutes, like violently ill. And I don't know. I think the 3DS for my playtime with it is nice. It's nice you don't have to wear anything. It's just there. And it helps some of the games. But this is supposed to be like, this is what we dreamed about in the 90s. Virtual reality, like Lawnmower Man and stuff like that. Haggard,
Do you
reality.
guys, Jeff, do you guys remember when like every movie was virtual reality movies for a while? Like it seemed like for 2 or 3 years, it was like everything was virtual reality.
Oh, yeah.
And
And,
then, like,
all
Virtual
it
Boy
was
came out.
like giant, like low polygon count, like apes like floating through the air. It's like, ooh, like it's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Right, yeah, wicked cheap.
Like everyone was
Yeah.
hacking. I was even watching Jurassic Park, and like it's not like virtual reality. They even have virtual reality in that, but then when she's like hacking, it's just like these like this really like crappy.
Yeah, it's like a
looking-
flyby of like boxes. Right.
So the future
I'm,
is
uh,
now Oculus Rift. I'm excited.
I'm
So,
curious. I'm surprised that Carmack. Like I was really surprised when I saw videos of Carmack last year, like really being a proponent of this thing. But I mean, if it's got his seal of approval, I mean, he's one of the most respected developers in the industry. So I'm not super excited about it, but I'm at least curious.
Like I said, I want to play it like because I've heard like nothing but like good things. If it really like, if it really puts you in the game, like it's like 360 degrees. You look around and like you're looking at like Skyrim or whatever game's going to use it.
Or
That's
Doom,
cool.
the new Doom game supposedly is going to be using it.
Well, yeah, they did a specific version of Doom 3 to go with the Kickstarter on
Oh,
it.
man, Doom
yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cloud
Hey, Doom 3 was
Monsters.
good.
It's okay.
So yeah,
I
overall
like-
though, yeah, like I said, this is a big deal for them. Now they've got an industry veteran with tons of experience helping out to develop the product and work on their software. So that should be pretty crazy. Now, some people thought, oh, well, what does this mean? Did he leave ID Software? Is he going to be completely uninvolved? But I guess he's just going to kind of split his time. So he's still working at ID, but he's also the CTO at Oculus now. So that's pretty cool. We'll have to keep our eye on that and see how things work out for that. Should be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look really cool.
Want to try it?
Yeah.
out?
Something to stay tuned for anyway.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So moving on, some stuff from this week's Nintendo Direct. They released a couple things here, so we're just going to note a couple things. So one of the things they showed, Luigi is going to be in the new Smash Brothers game.
Yes.
Now,
Oh man.
he's been in the other ones though as an unlockable character, but they did have some images to show off for Nintendo Direct. There he is.
So stupid. It's such a stupid image of him.
There he is.
There he is.
Day one purchase.
Hey,
Yeah.
Based on this, so yeah, I don't think they noted either way if he's going to be an unlockable character again or if he's going to be available right off the
I mean,
bat.
I don't think he was he an unlockable character in the first game? I thought he was just one of the main
Yeah,
guys.
I'm pretty
So I'm
sure
not the one to ask about
There were
this.
all-
the
honestly,
original
Smash
one.
Brothers-
The original one, I'm pretty sure
They
you
were-
could get both Mario and Luigi.
Well, I
right off the bat.
know Melee, the GameCube one. It definitely had Luigi and Mario, and then like Dr. Mario, and it had like they were all like
Yeah.
clones. And I'm pretty sure Brawl was like the same thing with just Mario and Luigi. So like the fact that they made this an announcement, it's like
Plus, it's like I don't know. It's like you got Mario. It's like I don't know. It's nothing
Luigi,
special.
No, Luigi does play different.
He
Like,
plays different, but at the
but-
same time, it's like
Yeah, you can jump higher.
bring a character in that's like that you're not going to expect. I'm not
Now-
surprised when Luigi's in
well,
Super Smash
now-
Brothers at all.
Now, well, they are bringing in Mega Man.
No, that's cool.
And in the last game, they did bring in Snake, and we had Mr. Game & Watch. So they are good with bringing in like these like kind of like lesser known
Lesser
characters
characters.
that like I guess like you see him and you're just like I was psyched for Old Snake. I'm psyched that Mega Man's in this one finally.
Like, what was he on? Wii U Fit Girl? Yeah.
They had, like,
well,
lots of
they
Rob
all
in there.
can't be winners.
They had like Rob the Robot and like all like even Mr. Game and Watch and like I don't know. I like having those like obscure characters
Yeah.
that go way back and like
Yeah,
but like Luigi, it's like come on, like
Show that other picture of him there.
Same
Show
picture.
this other. Look at this. Oh, not that one. The other one. Look at this. Oh yeah. He's gonna punch you in the face, Pit.
Look at that. That's
Take that.
that's the wussiest. It's like
yeah.
yeah, that's
This
fights like
totally got me.
See, it would be cool if you were like Luigi from like Luigi's Mansion and you had like the ghost pack and
I'm
like,
actually
yeah.
surprised
Yeah.
they,
Some
they
people
don't
said
do
that too. Some people said that would have been awesome.
Now
but it's
we
not.
we don't know they like because Luigi's Mansion the sequel like just came out. They had the Wii U launch game like the mini game, and now they had the 3DS Luigi's Mansion. I think they're doing another one too. It's in like the planning stages, so I wouldn't be surprised if they incorporated something with that. Now that it's like I feel like when
Like
the other
one of
games
those
come out, Luigi's
alternate
Mansion was
forms
more
you
of
can
like
switch into or whatever.
yeah, like I don't know. They could definitely do something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, the game's going to be awesome because all the Smash Brothers rule. Just the fact that they made that as like an announcement, like we didn't know that.
So here's another comment I read. I mean, I'm not big on Smash Brothers, but so this is going on the Wii U and the 3DS,
Yes.
correct? So somebody mentioned that they have to really kind of pick which characters are going to make it because they've got some limitations with the 3DS, so they might not have enough storage space to get like this crazy huge roster of all the characters everybody wants. So they got to be really picky about who they're going to include. I'm not sure how true that is, but
I don't know. I feel
feel
like the game, like the graphics are different than 3DS. You can see in there they have like that weird like cell shading outline, but I don't see them bringing down the roster because I don't think the 3DS like having a large roster is really going to push the limitations of that system.
Yeah.
I mean, what's stronger, the Vita or the 3DS at this point? I don't know, but
I think
know
the Vita. I think the Vita is
the
the stronger system.
The PlayStation All Stars, and I think that's pretty much a direct port, except like slightly less good graphics essentially. And that's why I assumed it would be the same with this. I didn't think it would limit the actual like character selection, but I guess we won't know till it comes out. So yeah,
We'll see.
Well, it's got Luigi. Everybody buy a Wii U.
There he is.
Nobody else has a Wii U, so maybe you'll be the first one.
pretty much.
Apparently, the way that Nintendo's going.
Yeah, they'll be good at the end of the cycle. It's a late bloomer.
The past.
I will say that
the past
actually,
3 consoles have been late
here.
bloomers.
I feel like every Nintendo system past Super Nintendo has been a late bloomer. Like, I mean, N64 launched with Mario 64, but after that, like, I don't think there was a lot on there for a few years. Same with GameCube, and I know people really like to hate on the Wii, but that too, like, when I look at the library of games like now that like the next version's out, like there's a solid library, and I think it's going to be the same with this. It just has a really bad late start, but
Yeah, they're
whatever.
coming out with a new Donkey Kong and was it Mario like 3D, right?
Yeah, so definitely.
So
definitely,
there are games coming out for it. I mean, I just think it's
they're just
slower
taking
than
too
the
long.
other
They
two.
should have had some more major titles, but off topic, so just to throw that in there.
Yeah, that's related to my last point, but this other tidbit that we want to touch on, Nintendo Direct here, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney will release here in the U.S. next year. So this,
I think
another
I'm really fit.
another franchise
No
I
way.
haven't had the opportunity to spend any time with, but apparently both of these respective series here have a cult following. So if you were waiting for an answer on this crossover title, good news. Here's your
like
answer.
if you haven't played Professor Layton or Phoenix Wright, I feel sorry for you. Like these games rule. So like the fact that there's going to be a joint game, I feel like these games kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah,
and
they're both awesome. And even better, I don't know about a new Phoenix Wright standalone title coming out next year, but I know 3DS is getting the final like main Layton game. I'm sure they're gonna like spin it off somehow because every game is the final version, and then a new one comes out.
Yeah,
but that's the final like Professor Layton game, at least for like the story arc they're doing. So that's coming out next year, and we're getting Layton versus Phoenix Wright. So if you're a fan of either of those series, it's next year's gonna be awesome if you own the 3DS.
Okay, so that's not too bad, but the reason I wanted to bring these up is that this is stuff from Nintendo's Nintendo Direct news feed or whatever they want to call it. But my point here is that this is the type of stuff they're passing off as news now. I think this kind of illustrates the sad state of affairs with for Nintendo lately. I don't know. It just seems like they just can't get their act together. The Wii U is not selling. They've got no games out. It's like what the hell?
Well,
Nintendo's definitely falling hard.
I'll say it now, and
Yeah.
like I said before, the Wii U, like I know it stinks to say it, but in a few years, I think it'll have a very solid library. But I can't fault them on anything with any of their handhelds. I think the 3DS, like I don't have one yet, and it's killing me because it already has a killer lineup with like awesome mainstream games. And you get the obscure games. I know like Fire Emblem was a very like. Not a super obscure series, but it got a lot of buzz for that game. The new Shin Megami Tensei just came out, which is supposed to be awesome.
Yeah.
And you get the Link to the Past sequel. So their handheld market, they're killing it. But their main console, like I said,
They just can't. They can't get their consoles together for whatever reason.
Well, it seems like they're not really trying to compete. They're just doing their own thing, and then
Right.
like you said, like they always kind of like come out stronger towards the end, and it's like I don't know. I feel like they're just in a different market. Like they're not really trying to compete with the other consoles right now. It's just
when they hit
doing
the
their own
mark with
thing.
a good game, it's awesome. But a lot of times there's just a lot of obscure, weird games that just come out that are just like kind of boring. Shovelware, I think that's the term they like to use for.
with the Wii especially.
Yeah.
moving on. Next news item. Torchlight 2 for Mac delayed.
What
The
the?
Torchlight 2 came out on
Never
the PC
played it.
almost, I think it was last September.
It was this
Right.
fall.
So it's been almost
I don't
a
even
year
know- I
they've
don't
been
even know
working
what
on
the heck
Mac
this crap
port.
is.
Unfortunately, they've run into, it says, unexpected complexities working on the Mac platform. So these guys, they're a very, very small studio, and so I guess they just ran into some stuff that they didn't expect. But unfortunately, if you're waiting to play this game, maybe you bought it on Steam, and you're itching to play this game on the Mac. Sorry.
Yeah, like this guy here.
Yep. Yeah, this
He's
comment,
appalled.
this is a good comment here right at the beginning.
How dare they not make this game for my Mac?
I gave him my money. What's the problem?
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I think a couple of you guys played. I haven't played either of these. A couple of you guys played the first one, but is there? I mean, is this an important game?
If you like Diablo,
Yeah, if you like action RPGs, or we'll just say Diablo, if you like Diablo type games, I won't even say roguelike because it's not even that anymore. But if you like, point and click like action dungeon crawlers where you just get loot over and over again, and it's just about upgrading your character numbers, this game's awesome. I barely played the first one. The second one is way better though because just for the fact that it's multiplayer. But yeah, if you only have the Mac and you've been waiting for it, sorry, it's an awesome game and you're missing out.
I don't know how to run boot camp or anything.
Yeah, just do that. It doesn't take a lot of resources to run that game anyways, so.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that probably sounds like your best option at this point. So, yep, like I said, they're a small team. They're trying to juggle that and get their new project working. So, if you're holding out for the Mac version of Torchlight 2, you're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Next news
All right.
item.
I'll keep waiting.
Yeah, keep waiting. The new DuckTales game. I'm sure everybody has seen
Yes!
this by now.
Oh yeah.
DuckTales remastered.
Yeah, and
They've
what's
got
up with
this
this? They only
promotional-
released. They only
What is it,
released.
150 units of this thing they made. Of course,
Yeah.
none of us here is gonna ever be able to get this thing, but
Well, if
Craig
it goes on
yeah,
eBay,
Craig,
I'll
yeah,
find
Craig,
it.
Craig has one. We got to rob him.
yeah, we might have to pay Stuttering Craig a visit.
Yeah, our good friend Stuttering Craig from Screw Attack, he has one.
So check this out. They made a
Dang it.
promotional original Nintendo NES cartridge, a gold cartridge. You get the lunchbox, you get a certificate with it, you get some
Yeah,
type of
50
coupon,
cents off of
whatever,
something.
Whatever the hell that says.
And is that,
that's
is
the
that
green
like an
cheese of longevity.
advertisement showing like ghosts and goblins and stuff on there? Like,
It's awesome, yeah.
green
Bionic
cheese of
Command- Bionic
longevity.
Commando.
I don't understand.
Yeah, there's a
cheap.
little bit zoomed in. Yeah. I mean, this is cool. What kind of ticks me off though is that, okay, so you're gonna promote your game, fine, but like people would buy this. You're gonna make 150 units and just hand them out to the press, or just to selected people that it's like whatever. Like, okay,
I don't know.
it seems kind of stupid to me.
How many people are going to buy that though? The lunchbox, yes, but how many people? How much would they charge?
Jeff. All right, so let me ask you this: if this was just it's not obviously not the new game, but if this was just a ROM of the original DuckTales and it came with all of this stuff, wouldn't you? I mean, I would buy it. Like, I would spend normal game price for it.
I don't
but
know. What am I
you
going
buy
to do
it?
with it? It's going to sit on my shelf. Like, I understand the collector, but if everyone could buy it, then I think it would lose its appeal as a collector's item.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I'm
unfortunately.
saying. You don't.
It's just
you don't
cool.
make like a billion of them. You make you do a
A
run of
thousand.
several thousand, not 150, where it's next to impossible to get it.
See, I think even a couple thousand. I think 150. It's not even the new game on the cartridge form. It's just it's just the original NES game with a
Yeah,
lunchbox.
they're a
that's
little
gold-plated.
bit short on the details there. I'm not sure exactly what that cartridge even is, but it's still cool. Like,
Yeah, it's very cool. If I had one, great, but I wouldn't. I don't think I would go out of my way to get one just because I've played DuckTales. I'm excited for the new one, but
You're not a collector.
I am not really a game collector.
I mean,
that's
if you're
true.
a collector, I mean, that's a hot item. That's
Completely,
awesome.
yes,
but,
I get that. Yeah, let me take that. If you're a game collector, yes, that's awesome. Absolutely, I can understand you guys wanting that. For me, I play the games to play them, and then
they did the same thing with Mega Man, right? Was it Mega Man 9, or they did something similar? I think there was, but that was an actual CD case for the game. Like, the cartridge actually flipped open. So
Yeah.
sort of similar. But yeah, let's move on. Our last news item this week. of course, it all comes back to the Xbox One. Microsoft is trying to keep the new system in everybody's minds. So they released an unboxing video today, but they also had some new details came out in the either today or so at some point this week. All these awesome features they were talking about at the press conference and that they've been talking about for a while. All the cool features for the Xbox One, the game DVR, Smart Match, NFL TV Guide, and your gameplay recording. All of that is restricted to Xbox Live Gold. So if you're not a Gold subscriber, too bad you're not using any of this stuff. So here you go. Here's the comparison. You can see they got the Xbox 360, what that supports if you're a Gold member, and the Xbox One. So all this stuff, if you're a dirty console peasant with only Xbox Live Silver, too bad. You're not using Skype. You're not using the game DVR. You're not doing any of that.
NFL.
Go back to
man.
Xbox One.
Smart Match. Whatever
What
else they got
about
going on.
Netflix?
One
You
guy.
need Gold for that, probably.
Well, you need it for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, what a slap in the face that is. You already have to pay a subscription service
There's
for
there's a
Netflix.
lot of people that don't agree with that. So I mean, I don't know. I understand the business reasons for putting this stuff behind the paywall, but I mean, how do you think?
But does Sony do this too?
Sony, the PlayStation 4, you're going to have PlayStation Network Plus to play multiplayer games.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
PlayStation Network Plus, though, is a deal. Like I've said it before, I have a ton of free
I
games.
just feel like with Microsoft, you're just paying way more than
But
what
here-
you
and that's-
need
and
to.
and
And then
that's my-
Sony's the same thing. Sony's not letting you. Like you're doing this stuff for free. Why not? Like why not do this? Is it just again Microsoft trying to screw us over? And I'm not trying to sound like a Sony fanboy because I like a lot of the Microsoft. I have a 360 and I look forward to the Xbox One games, but
They just want more money.
yeah.
I think by now they've probably realized like people are willing to pay for Xbox Live Gold or whatever. So now it's like, all right, how much stuff can we put behind this? Maybe get more people, get the same people paying again, or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's true. They'll drag in their existing members anyways, but then maybe a few
and
extra.
then possibly try to convert some people that are interested in the other stuff. Yeah, I could understand that. That's the counterpoint to the whole thing, though, is that right after these details came out, Shu Yoshida from Sony said, "Oh yeah, you can." The main thing people are interested in is the streaming and recording stuff. So you want to stream your gameplay, or you want to record stuff you do, record your gameplay, and then edit it or do whatever. Sony came back and said, "Yep, you don't need PlayStation Network Plus to do it on the PlayStation 4." So there you go. It seems like Sony's been doing a good job of just countering whatever Microsoft says on the next gen stuff. So we'll see.
Great. Good
All
old Microsoft.
That's going to do it for the news, guys. Again, slow on the news, but a few things this week. Let's move on to our reviews.
All right.
It's review time. So we're gonna Dragon's Crown came out this week, but we didn't have a ton of time to play it, so we'll be talking about Dragon's Crown next week. So be on the lookout for that. This week, though, since not a whole lot of stuff is out, we decided to play some Telltale games. We're gonna talk about Back to the Future, the game that Telltale put out a while. Actually, at this point, that game is actually pretty old. It's several years old. But we're going to review it all the same, and then we're going to talk about The Walking Dead, which was a runaway success for those guys over at Telltale. So,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, are you guys going to use? I didn't play The Walking Dead, but I think the rest of you guys did pretty much. So, if you guys, I'll leave that up to you. If you guys want to talk about story or spoiler-sensitive stuff, that's your prerogative. But let's kick things off. Let's start off with Back to the Future. So, this is actually Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies of all time, and when they announced this, I was totally stoked on this. It looked awesome. Finally, a Back to the Future game that makes sense and isn't complete crap. You're reminded of that LJN garbage on the NES and that friggin' Back to the Future 3 game on the Genesis that no one ever made it past the
The horse
first
riding
level.
level? Oh
No,
my God.
You just have to be very skilled to play that game.
Finally, the franchise is in the hands of people who care about it and that actually did a good job with the game. So why don't we just roll the gameplay footage for it if we have it? So there we go. Now I want to say they did make an honest effort here. They got Christopher Lloyd to voice Doc. This other guy, AJ Lucchesio, he did an awesome job with Marty's voice because they weren't able to get Michael J. Fox. But
Except for the last episode.
yeah, yep, he had a cameo in the final episode for this first season of
Did he
of Back
play
to the
Marty
Future.
or play a different character?
He played Marty, but like an older Marty, and then there were like
Gotcha.
not clones, but like Martys from like different timelines and stuff that showed up right at the end. So yeah, well, there's a spoiler if you haven't played this. They also got Claudia Wells, who was Jennifer in the first movie. They got her to come back and voice Jennifer in episode 3. So in terms of the voice acting, though, the only one that sticks out is Biff, because they weren't able to get Tom Wilson to
What else is that guy doing?
See,
Does he
that's
do anything?
That's the thing. He's been in other games. He was one of the guys. He was Lieutenant Beesman in that Star Trek Voyager Elite Force game. He's done other. He's done. Oh yeah, he's done.
He's
other,
in Wing Commander 3.
He's in Wing Commander. He's done other video games, but when I was looking at his stuff, he doesn't want to be associated with this type of stuff anymore.
Yeah, those movies were terrible. I'm done with those.
He doesn't want anything to do with something where he's going to be portrayed as a pop icon from like yesteryear, right? He said he only wants to focus on new projects and do newer
It's
stuff.
something about Back to the Future. Like from what I've seen from the guy, like he hates when people bring it up. Like
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's got a stand-up routine where he does a song about how people ask him how Michael J. Fox is in person and stuff, and like it drives him nuts. He hates it.
car, old man.
Butthead.
Yeah, buttheads.
But you can't. I mean, from what I understand, they did try to get him, but he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
unfortunate.
can't really force people like
yeah,
that.
that I will say that's the one thing I noticed too is like voice acting quality, it was fine, but just the fact that I've seen Back to the Future like a billion times, like that's the
You're gonna
one.
notice the subtle differences.
Yeah, that one was pretty different. I mean,
Exactly. That was the point. That was the only point I was trying to make. In terms of the voice acting, his is the one. Like the voice for Biff in the game is kind of similar, but that's the one that sticks out above all the others. Where it's like, oh, okay, it would have been awesome if they had got him for it, but unfortunately they couldn't. So, in that same vein, if you want to talk about the sound in this game, same thing. They got the licensed tracks from Huey Lewis, and they've also got. They redid the theme music, and all the music in the game sounds exactly like the original score from the movies, so it's definitely awesome. No issues with the sound. Let's see. If you want to talk about graphics in this game, I mean, from this footage right here, you can get a feel for pretty much how it looks. It's not AAA quality, but everything is detailed enough. Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox allowed Telltale to use their likenesses, so of course Marty and Doc look nearly spot on. But there's still this, everything has that kind of cartoony look to everything that you can kind of see here,
Right,
which
it's like
I
the
don't know.
Telltale
I guess that's either a plus or it's kind of like, eh.
I think it works for the game because you gotta, they didn't. It's not like they have like the biggest budget, like you said, not AAA, but so I think the cartooniness of it kind of works with the art direction they're going through, and it makes it passable. If they tried to make it like a realistic, like very realistic looking game, which I don't think I'd want that in a Back to the Future type game, anyways, because. It's Back to the Future. Like it's has that little bit of goofiness to it, which I think makes it fun. So
Sure.
Did it feel like Back to the Future?
yeah,
Does it have?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. It I feel like if LucasArts did a Back to the Future game like they did like an Indiana Jones game back in the '90s, it would be like this game except 2D and pixelated. But that's the feeling I got with it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like this type of game, or Back to the Future, just the property in general lends itself to a point and click really well, because what the hell else were they gonna make with this? A first-person shooter? I don't really think a whole lot of other different game types would have worked for this. So if you wanna talk about what do you do in this game? You play as Marty here, so you can see he's talking to Doc here. He's trying to break him out of the back of this paddy wagon. But you play as Marty for the entire game. You start in 1986, which is the current time in the story. You go back to Hill Valley in 1931. You visit an alternate 1986 where Hill Valley is completely walled in and being run by Doc Citizen Brown, and then eventually you go all the way back to 1876 to fix some other events. And doing all these things, all of this spans 5 episodes of this game, so they split it up into episodes as they do with most of the other Telltale games. And all the stuff you do, everything is believable in the Back to the Future universe for this game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it really fit in. Even right there, who he's talking to, that girl is Mr. Strickland's sister, the principal. Like that's supposed to be his sister, and
Edna Strickland.
Yeah, the way they put her in there and stuff. The whole story flowed really well. It felt like an extension of the main trilogy. So I was really happy about it.
Yep. And again, as you can see from the gameplay here, it's your standard point and click. You got dialogue trees, and then there's puzzles in there. And I think the puzzles vary. There's some that are a little bit too obvious and easy, but then there's others where you have to do, a variety of things to complete the puzzle. And there's a lot of steps that are involved. So, there's some puzzles that have unexpected solutions. There were actually quite a few times. I mean, I never got stuck to the point of having to consult game facts, but there were some parts where I was like, geez, what are they looking for here? Like, what do they want me to do?
Yeah, I mean, like definitely not the most difficult like point and click like puzzler, but a few here and there that had me stuck for a few moments. But it never got frustrating. No.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, overall, this was. I mean, I was happy with what they did with this game. I think it does a fair job representing the property. It isn't perfect, but like I kind of hinted at before, it is the best Back to the Future game that they've ever done. I do wish
much.
if I did have to say one way or the other, I wish they had gone the full blown full release route with this, kind of like that Ghostbusters game we saw a few years ago. That would have been really awesome, but for whatever reason they opted to do it this way.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend now with these games, is an episodic format, which is kind of cool because you get any of these episodes take like 2 hours, on average, I would say. So it's great when you first get and you're like, oh yes. Like when I first started playing, I flew through that first episode, and then I was like, they took them they were coming out once a month, I think. That's how they were doing it, but I feel like there was a delay or two between some of the episodes, and we're waiting 2.5 months, and it's it's like the wait in between kind of kills the momentum. I almost wish you're right. It came out as just one full 10-hour adventure game all at once would have been awesome. But
Yep.
but you can't blame it. That's just the way Telltale works right now. So it's been working for them. I can see them not changing that format, because I think all their games work with that episodic format. So don't see it stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, so there you go. To sum up, I mean, if you're a fan of Back to the Future, which a lot of us our age,
Alternate Jennifer looking pretty hot right there.
Yep, totally oblivious to the DeLorean jumping in there. But yeah, if you grew up with this and you saw this as a kid, then you definitely know about this, and you probably have to play this. I mean, this was awesome. They did an awesome job. I will say, the first episode, I was I played it, I was like, all right, that seems cool. And then the ones in the middle, this game had a good first episode and then a good last episode. I think they tied everything up really well. It's just the stuff in the middle was kind of slow.
It did get a little slow. I mean, definitely you had the beginning and the end definitely have the most momentum on there. But I thought they were all pretty fun. But I get what you're saying. I thought, the second episode where you were in the alternate version of 1985, I thought that was really cool, though. I really enjoyed that.
I like that myself, yeah.
But yeah, overall though, I definitely, if you haven't played it at this point, you should. Whether you're a fan of Back to the Future or again, old school 90s, 80s point and click adventures.
Yeah. Now, like the Walking Dead has, where they just came out with all the episodes on for the PS3 or something like that. Does that have it where it's all the episodes are on one disc?
I believe it does. I know on the Wii it does. I'm not
okay.
sure. I'm willing to bet you can buy all of them as a set, for one price, which was the other thing I was going to say. At this point, you can probably pick it up pretty cheap. So if you haven't played it yet, and you're
probably
a Back to the Future fan,
buy it right off Telltale. I think they do that with most of their games after they finish the season.
Yeah.
They usually release a physical copy. Oh.
So there you go, Back to the Future, the game. If you're a fan of Back to the Future and haven't played it yet, definitely check it out. Definitely awesome. So
There it is.
Yeah. Let's move
All right.
on. You guys want to talk about The Walking Dead?
Oh yeah.
F it.
Yeah, F it.
Oh,
Change the
awesome
channel.
game.
All right.
Let's go over here. Okay.
Now, like I said, I haven't played it, so go
All
ahead.
right. Well, I feel like I've talked about like point and click games a lot on this show.
This is the best game that you can
So-
get on the PS3 ever.
What?
okay.
Come on.
Okay,
No,
camera
alright,
over
get
here.
out of here.
Yeah, let's
Shut up.
let the people know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Speak on here. Okay. Anyways, so like I was a big fan of Telltale when I first started hearing about them. I really liked Monkey Island, and they did a version of Monkey Island which was awesome. Then they had the Sam and Max games. Then Back to the Future came out, which obviously we just talked about, and I was like psyched for it.
Oh yeah. I wanted to point that out. Before that was Telltale's most successful game. Back to the Future was awesome for them, but until Walking Dead was a runaway success. Now
Yeah.
Walking Dead kind of eclipsed it, but
Well, I feel like
it's interesting to note that
it's weird. They've had a really good like momentum, like because they were like kind of an unknown studio. They had some weird like original like games, and then they got Monkey Island, and that's what got my attention. I was like, oh, new Monkey Island, like, and it was good. And then they got Back to the Future, and I was like, F yeah, this is awesome. And then I heard about them getting Jurassic Park and the Walking Dead series, and I was like, well, how are they going to do those? Jurassic Park kind of stunk,
I didn't
but Walking Dead was awesome. I mean, that's like the peak of their series so far. I'm waiting to see what they go from here.
Like our first episode of this show, like we actually kind of had a rant about The Walking Dead, like because it was in one of our top favorites.
Yeah.
And I mean the game is awesome. Like I said time and time before, I'm really sick of the whole zombie genre, and
this though.
Yeah, this game I really liked. Like what's really cool, like one of the first things you notice in the game is that you have like a timer on the decisions that you have, like with the
like the dialogue
dialogue
even
selection,
dialogue,
like, yeah,
the
like-
action.
I noticed
there's a
that.
timer.
Oh, there's
Which-
some other game I played recently that had that, like in the last couple years, and that's so it forces you to just pick something
which
quick.
really works for this kind of game because it really keeps the suspense up. Like it's
Right.
like you really have to kind of like just make that initial choice of like whatever you're gonna do. Like you really have to kind of follow through with whatever.
Yeah, what I liked about this was, obviously it's The Walking Dead, but most of the time, a lot of the episodes were about just the interactions between the characters and not about strictly just the zombies, which I really liked because
Yeah, I mean it's definitely that Walking Dead vibe right there. There are zombies, but I wouldn't say they're really the main focus, or they're more of like a background piece to kind of drive the story.
Yeah, and it's cool
Well, I mean,
because you have the Walking
that's how the
Dead.
show and comic is too.
Oh, sorry. Say that again, Tom.
I'm just saying that's how the show and the comic is set up as well.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
less about the zombies. So.
Yeah, like what's cool too is like it has like the Walking Dead franchise, and it's totally like new characters, but it's in the same universe. I mean, like it's just another place in the world where there's zombie madness going on.
Now,
And-
I don't want to give anything away, but like I liked the ending, but at the same time I didn't because I liked the characters so much, and if you beat it, you can kind of understand what I'm saying.
Even if you didn't beat it, I think you laid it on pretty thick there.
Yeah, thanks. Well, thanks. Yeah, spoiler alert here, Nick.
Anyways, but I don't know. I can't. I'm totally torn.
There's
between the
a
ending.
season 2 coming out, so
Yeah.
we're gonna see what happens. It was definitely a very intense game. Spoiler alert: people die in the game, and
Whoa.
sometimes
Zombie.
Big surprise there.
I know, right? But a lot of some people die based on your choices, and it's pretty hard hitting like that. You really feel for it. Like some of the choices you think.
Yeah, I tried really hard to keep some characters, and
Yeah,
like when they were gone, I did feel pretty butthurt over it.
Yeah, I didn't
Right.
make any choices lightly in this game. I wasn't like just trying to click through. Like all the conversation, I really thought about what was being said or what I was doing, and it's awesome. I think every playthrough it will be a little bit different. I mean, the whole arc of the story pretty much is going to be the same, but it's those little individual choices that make it different on there.
I love, obviously, I'm going back to characters, but I think the best interactions were between, Clementine and Lee, and I think Clementine was probably like my favorite character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well,
no.
she was the whole driving
Yeah.
force
That's
behind the story.
that's what they had in mind when they like wrote the entire story, just like those two characters and then everybody
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel forced. Like, I mean, the interactions between some other characters in other games feel really forced. And I haven't played through the entire game, but from what I played through, like the writing is good, and the transitions between segments are really good, and it flows really well.
Yeah,
It does flow
It's
well, yeah.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's even a few like actiony bits too, where you have to do some shooting. Like it's very like, but they're very short, like and condensed. So it doesn't try to be an action game, but there's a
Yeah.
few parts here and there that help kind of move it along and keep it like, when it's supposed to be like an intense scene, that helps move it along.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, but like, I didn't really feel like the game got very challenging at any point, though.
no,
Yeah, I don't
Like-
think, but at the same time, I don't think that's really the point. I think
No, I'm just saying the game.
Yeah.
The game is kind of a cakewalk, but
Yeah,
it's more just like it's very enjoyable. It's very fun to play.
I think the
but-
best way to say it's an interactive like
story.
Yeah.
Comic. It's like an
interactive
interactive comic or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a challenge, like
not this game.
But
Don't-
at the same
don't
time,
bother,
there
but
are cool gameplay elements.
oh yeah, no, definitely. But you can have cool gameplay elements without being a challenge. At all.
Yeah.
The gameplay's good if you like adventure games. Now, I will say for an adventure game aspect too, if you're looking for like really like hard like Sierra-esque like brain teasers that are gonna have you smacking your head against the wall again, this isn't gonna
Not this
have it
game.
like.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any part where I was stuck for more than a few moments. Everything flowed really nicely, but it was really awesome story.
Yep.
And it was enjoyable. That's what it comes down to. It wasn't super hard, like in any aspect at all, but everything worked.
Yeah.
That includes. So I mean,
Graphically, I thought it was really good too.
Graphically-
it had that comic,
Yeah,
it had that comic booky vibe to it.
Comic booky.
yeah.
The comic booky.
Graphically, it was awesome because it looked like the comic
Smooth.
book, and that really helped. And it worked too because again, it's Telltale. I think they're a lot bigger now. Just a few years ago when they were
Oh,
first
yeah, for
releasing
sure.
the new Monkey Island, and now they've blown up because of these games because everyone's been playing them.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll start getting bigger budgets and more like advanced graphics for their games. But this worked for them because they went for that comic book feel and they could still hide that lower budget like that they had because the art style really worked for what they were trying to do.
I think this game had a fairly substantial budget though. I think just because of the subject.
Yeah.
Maybe substantial for them.
For
but,
them,
you
yeah. I mean, it's still not a AAA title, but
No, but-
they were still working with as opposed to Back to the Future. I mean, they were working with a much more considerable budget.
Definitely. But it's been. I mean, you can tell their quality. Not that they ever had bad qualities from their earlier games, but like
It improved for sure.
you can
yeah.
definitely tell the quality just keeps going up, which is what I really like. And this game really shows it. So episode 1 through 5, awesome, really cool story. I was at the edge of my seat, like waiting for that next release month after month, and they just released the 400 Days DLC not too long ago. That's more of a standalone story. It's like 5 different characters, and they all kind of intertwine. It's fully like 2 hours between all 5 characters. But if you like The Walking Dead, just kind of throwing it in there, worth playing the DLC. It does kind of connect it, but it's its own thing at the same time.
Well,
kind
it's
of like
supposed to be a bridge into
it
season
is.
2, right?
That's exactly. It's pretty much bridging into season 2, which I'm really excited for. But
I mean,
What we saw just here is that was like a pre-canned kind of action sequence where he was up against the car and
Yeah.
then you got to get the gun and
Exactly.
do all this stuff. Is there anything else in the game that's more involved than that? Like
that's
action
basically
sequences?
that's like a almost.
Those are
kinda
the
like-
action sequences.
That's like the first action sequence of the game, so that's kind of like
Yeah.
setting the stage of what you're going to have to do. It gets a little harder than that.
there's
but
a few of them where
it's
you
basically
kinda,
that's the same thing.
You got to like take a little bit of cover
okay.
behind
Yeah.
cars and take out bandits.
Yeah,
But it's
and-
more
or there's-
about the dialogue and I guess you could call puzzles in it.
Well,
But
there's
it's-
definitely times even the gameplay doesn't, but you'll definitely have to rush to help other characters out.
Yeah, but
Right.
aside from like that format, it doesn't really break away from that. It stays. It's like the same. The gun parts. Then you're searching for items and then talking to.
But again, which
party.
is something that I liked because I think it's a game that, like I said, focuses on story first, then gameplay.
Right. Well, I'm just answering Chris's question.
Yeah.
But a cool thing about the game too is that it's on just about every platform there is. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can get this game on your iPhone or whatever phone you have. I'm sure that's a smartphone, and I'm sure I actually played it on my phone before, and it does play pretty smooth. So I mean, you can really like if you've never played this game and like you really don't have the time, you can just get it on your phone and play it on the go, and it plays just as good as playing it on a computer. It's awesome. So, I mean, it's totally worth checking out if you haven't played it already.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So plenty of options to.
I would agree with that. I actually have a question for I'll gear this question towards Jeff, since I know that or Jeff and Steve, since I think they're the biggest horror fans over there. Just everybody, I guess I'll gear this towards. How would you rate all this Walking Dead stuff in terms of your favorite? Would you say the comic, the movies, or the comic, the show, or the games are your favorite things?
Well, the show's dead last easily.
Although the show is good.
The show's really good.
I didn't watch the finale.
I haven't watched the last
but
few seasons, but I did like the show.
I like it. People were going to compare it, obviously, to the comic book in some way.
This is going to go totally off whack here, what we're talking about, because we're talking about the game, but I will say the show kind of loses focus on characters and moves too slowly. And the characters are dumb in it for whatever reason. They're just like oblivious and ignorant.
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
in
yeah.
the comic and in the game they portray them as like smart, like intelligent characters who aren't.
Do you think that? Wait, you think in the TV show they portray him as like dumb?
Oh yeah.
And what?
Have you seen Carl at all? Carl's the worst character ever.
It's like they're all like just like stupid. Like
Yeah.
it's just stupid decisions left
The
and
game
right.
itself also has some characters making pretty stupid decisions.
Right.
That I saw.
What, in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna it in all three formats. Yeah, it happens. But in the show, but in the comic and in the game, I found, obviously they're stupid characters, but I found a lot of the characters likable. I could relate to, and I want to see what happened to him next. In the show has pretty much all the comic book characters, some slight differences. They're just
You don't care for them as much.
I could not care when there are a bunch of character deaths that happen in the comic book. It happens, and it's like it's sad. And this isn't the comics better than the show, but it's that it just doesn't have that character impact I want.
I mean, I feel like all three are pretty good on their own. Like the game and the comic, I feel like are closer together. Like I mean, I really cared about the characters in the game and the comics. I mean, the comics were awesome. I mean, I thought those were really good. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like all three, like you don't really need to like one or the other, or even know about one or the other. Like they all kind of
They're all
It's
standalone
almost
for
like
sure.
they're all
it's in the
standalone.
scene.
Yeah, they all definitely work
So,
along on their own.
like you could watch the show and never read the comic or play the game and really enjoy it, and then same goes for the game or the comic. So, I mean, I think that it's really versatile in that way. It's really cool that I mean, everything's kind of good in its own right, but I can't really say one's better than the other.
All right.
All right.
Just getting some opinions here.
All right. Well,
So,
that's
but
my
yeah,
opinion.
I would agree with Steve. I'd say that for me, I mean, the show's kind of like last in terms of like what I care about, and I'll say that the comics and the game, being that they're more tightly sewn together, I definitely care for them.
Yeah,
quite a
that
bit
should
more.
be pointed out too. These games do actually pretty much officially fall into the comic universe. So
Yeah.
I think people have asked Kirkman if any of the characters would actually pop up in the comic book. I can't remember what he said. I haven't read any of the issues for like a while now, so I'm pretty behind on that. But
Well, Glenn is in.
Glenn's in the first episode. But like all the original characters of the game, like there's been talks about them popping up somewhere. People have said the show. I can't see any of them talk about like Clementine popping up in the TV show. I can't see that happening. It just wouldn't make sense. In the comic book, I could see it though because it's it's within the same universe. They share the same stuff. So I don't know. Worth playing though. So again, like I said, Back to the Future. But this one, if you like zombies, if you like Walking Dead, and if you like point and click games.
And if you like Robert Kirkman, by the way, Robert Kirkman's new comic book series, Super Dinosaur, is awesome.
Oh yeah?
Haven't read it.
I
Never
definitely
heard
go.
No, I've never heard of it.
the game.
All right, well he's got a comic book called Super Dinosaur.
I'll check it out.
All right.
So yeah, then in terms of our recommendation, what are you guys going to slap on this? You guys going to say
Definitely
must play regardless?
Must play.
of-
I think it's a must play, definitely. Now it
I'll give it a rent.
yeah a rental.
Redbox.
What would you guys give it for a score?
Buy it, play it. It's worth the purchase.
It's definitely worth the purchase.
And I think it's what's like for all 5 episodes. It's like maybe like $20 altogether, and I think the DLC.
yeah,
is a
and
few
each
extra
episode
bucks.
is about 2 hours long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You feel like
It
you get your
depends.
money's worth for each one.
and
Jeff,
the
hey,
playthroughs
Jeff.
can be different each time. Like worth playing again.
Or hey, Jeff or Nick, would you give this game 5 out of 5 stars?
5 out of 5
5 out of
stars.
5 stars.
Yes.
Would you guys?
My
all right, good.
Rambo review.
Very good.
My Rambo review.
So, can't go wrong with the Walking Dead. It sounds like. So yeah, we've had a few must plays here in the last couple weeks. Hotline Miami,
I only play
Right.
must plays, Chris.
Ride to Hell, Retribution.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, right
We're
the
not,
hell.
we're not playing Hannah Montana over here.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I did. We've reached the end of the show here. I think it's time to wrap up. Like I said, we're going to be playing Dragon's Crown. We'll be covering it next week.
Splinter
yeah.
Cell, Blacklisted, coming out.
Yeah, man, can't wait. Dragon's Crown is going to be awesome. Guys, check out our Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter.
Like us on the internet.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Tell your
Check out our
friends.
website at GameSlean.tv. Any other final words?
We should have like a mailing address so people can like send us fan
Check
mail.
us out.
We actually do. We have a PO box, or we have an address here at the studio, but I don't know. We can give it out. I don't know. We'll see.
Send us a
Yeah.
fan
Send
mail.
us
Yeah,
your
make
fan
sure you
mail. Your free stuff, we'll take it.
Maybe we'll start a street team.
we may make that available in the future. We'll have to see.
And
Yeah.
people in the chat, thank you for having conversations.
Yeah. Guys, thanks
we
for joining us.
love you.
Keep playing. We'll see you next time on GameSlean.
Teach each other.